woman has been on a relentless mission for nearly a decade. She set out to build a chapel and give inmates at the women's prison in Burnett County a safe place to pray and go through classes and other programs to help them turn around their lives. Pam Stevenson had no clue where to start and needed thousands of dollars to make this all happen. As KXAN's Jayla Washington now shows us, this remarkable woman feels she's been divinely guided along the way.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary.
Out in Burnett County behind the tall gates and barbed wire, some women in the Ellen Halbert prison couldn't help but to share this gospel.
Sanctuary.
Their spirits rejoicing in this brand new chapel. It is still a work in progress. You see and hear the emptiness. But these inmates are anything but empty.
It's going to be so good.
This woman right here, Pam Stevenson, a big reason, helping them cling to the good and what life outside of here is and will be.
Hello.
Hi.
We'll get to that.
Well, I have a 15-year sentence for organized crime.
Well, I have a 35-year sentence. I sold drugs just to get more drugs to get high.
Just living the wrong lifestyle. I was raised into the streets and stuff like that.
I was always under the belief that there's always tomorrow.
These women all have their own stories to tell. Many of them here at the Halbert prison are in recovery from substance abuse and are also survivors of physical or sexual abuse and are here in this unit less than a year.
When y'all were in your darkest moments, did you ever see yourselves sitting here with me right now talking about rehabilitation?
No.
Inmates here in recovery have the opportunity to go through rehabilitation programs.
One thing I've learned from this is that you are not the darkness that you have endured. You are the light that never surrendered.
Amen.
Each of these women I'm sitting down with have completed one called Bridges to Life, but many others have been turned away.
Sometimes we have to turn people away in the other chapel because there's not enough room.
Now the ladies and I sit in what will be one of the classrooms for programs inside of a new facility that also houses the new chapel, where women will be able to go to worship. This is now a reality that started with a simple vision put on paper, a drawing of the chapel.
This was a drawing that the chaplain made.
And that's what brings us back to Pam Stevenson.
Well,
it's all still a lot, even for her to process. Stevenson spent about 10 years volunteering at the prison, teaching Bible study and helping out with other classes. And then one day, a nudge.
I don't understand how God works. I just know that He puts things on our hearts. And so on the way home, I just cried out to God and said, you know, what about all these other women that can't get into a class?
But that cry out for help, a higher order came that she says she could not ignore. Stevenson would go on to create a nonprofit called Joseph's Hammer to build the chapel.
You know, people just looked at me like, you have got to be kidding. You must have lost your mind. What on earth? And I really didn't have sense enough to stop.
People, and a lot of them, did eventually come around though. Stevenson and a team she formed were able to raise more than $2 million. The project, 7 years in the making, to give opportunities to women to transform their lives. What does that impact mean to you?
Just to be able to go in and say, you know what? I'm no different than you, and I want you to know that you can walk out of here and your life can be wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The women gracious and sharing a rare moment of contact.
This makes it worthwhile.
Inside of a prison, overcome with so many emotions.
Because somebody poured into us when we were written off by society.
Have you all ever had any individual like Pam pour into you all the way that Pam has?
No.
No.
For Remarkable Women, I'm Jayla Washington.
Well, there are a number of prisons in Texas that do not have chapels. That's because back in the late 90s, when new prisons were built, the state ran out of money to add those. That's all according to Pam Stevenson. Communities can raise money, though, to get a chapel built on a prison's property, usually led by nonprofits, just like Joseph's Hammer in Burnett. Stevenson still plans to volunteer at the Ellen Halbert unit, teaching Bible study classes. The prison's chapel is now state property and is set to be fully ready for the inmates to use within weeks.